Hello, human beings. Welcome. I am here today on Valentine's Day to remind you how lonely you are. So let's take a little journey right now. We're about to go through the love story of Eureka 7. Now, Eureka 7 debuted in 2005 on April 17th and made it almost a full year till April 2nd of 2006. So close to perfection. But, not much you can do. Anyway, it is the story of Renton Thurston, and guess what? As I insinuated in the title, he falls in love with a girl named Eureka. And guess what? It's chaotic, it's cute, it's enjoyable, it's everything you want in a mecha show. So, without further ado, let's start breaking it down with the story. Alright, Eureka 7 actually takes place about 10,000 years after humanity leaves the planet of Earth because of the scub coral, which are basically these human intelligence beings. They have the same intelligence as humans, but they're aliens and they look nothing like humans except for Eureka. Now, Renton's dad, Adrock Thurston, actually helped Eureka get to where she is as a human now, along with the help of the second best character in the show, Holland. And after all that, they continually find more and more mysteries about Eureka's body, Eureka's mind, the world as a whole, and it leads to many, many, many twists and turns. Now, these twists and turns, in order to be elevated to a higher level, they need good animation, typically, and good sound design. Well, the animation is already covered because there's this little company, I don't know if you know them, they're called Studio Bones. And well, Studio Bones is pretty good when it comes to animating things, as long as it's not My Hero. Now, joking aside, I do generally love the look of this show. While the facial animations are sometimes very off putting, they clearly shine through with the fluidity of surfing, which is one of the main motifs of the show. As the people of the Gecko State are actually, to the general public, they are portrayed, I guess is the better term, as a surfing art like group. And it obviously takes a lot of inspiration from, well, how teenagers are generally perceived, and it shows that through the entire show. Now, obviously, it being a love story, you could generally assume it is based around teenagers, but the whole vibe of the show does feel very based in how teenagers are perceived, which is very interesting. Now, I will say that the animation is good, sound design very good, sounds, everything. I'm about to butcher this name, but Naoki Sato. Naoki Sato is actually a really good composer, and he provides a lot of fantastic music. Now, it's hard to necessarily say what gives Eureka 7 its distinct feel because it is one of the biggest mecha anime, I would argue, to come out from the early 2000s. Evident by the fact that, a decade later, it was able to get 3 movies based on the original story and TV show. Now, there is one thing I need to address. This is only a review of the original Eureka 7. Why? Well, that is because High Evolution is a very different beast entirely, and if you would like to see a review on that, please comment below. But, getting back to the review, the one thing I have dissected is the better term from this show, is the characters all feel very distinct. The While it is not uncommon, it is actually very, very common for a teenage boy to be piloting a giant robot. It is the people around Renton that gives Renton this level of elevation to a good main character. For example, as I have already mentioned earlier, Dobby, or not Dobby, Holland. Holland is a very intriguing character with a good personal background, and he even has connections which give him, you know, a good emphasis inside the plot to our main antagonist, Dewey. But one thing that is actually rather refreshing in a modern day mecha anime is that Dewey is not the initial antagonist. That honor actually goes to Anemone. So having this dynamic of the whole classic, oh, you dealt with me, but now you have to fight my boss, actually works extremely well in classic mecha. Who could have guessed? Now, Anemone combined with Eureka, combined with Renton, combined with Holland, and that's not even getting into the entire cast of characters. So you may be wondering, well, does the writing balance out this already four main characters I have listed, but also the history of the world, the explanation of different ideologies and technology and components of the world? How well is it handled? Well, thanks to Dai Sato, who is the main writer, it beautifully comes together. And it has thankfully given us a wonderful idea thanks to its runtime. Yes, that is right. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, Eureka 7 spouts a total of 50 episodes. Surprising for a modern day anime. However, this was actually very common for mecha anime at the time. The only exception to that, to a notable extent that was a massive success, was Evangelion. But then again, if Evangelion is your only mecha anime, you might want to check out some other stuff. Now, just saying, and just throwing shade at other components, what do I actually think of the show? Well, with solid animation, enjoyable characters, very good writing, and an overall feeling of rebellion, freedom, and love, which are obviously very connected to teenagers, I would highly recommend this show. Is it something that everyone will like? No. But don't just take my word for it. Do it yourself. Watch it yourself. And make sure to have a really good day. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Later.